Hi guys! So, today I have a wooden canvas instead of a canvas. And I built this one. I'll have a link in the description for a video I did on how to build a simple wooden canvas. You can see by the back, so nice and simple. These are just 1x2s, and then it's just a 1/4 inch board that I nailed onto the 1x2s to make a simple wooden canvas. So let's make sure it's still in frame for you. And this is actually a large wooden canvas. I built it to be, I'll just show you with the tape measure, so it's 12 inches by 24 inches. So a little bit larger than the 10x20s that I was doing, but you could definitely build your own wooden canvas any size you want. Makes it super fun, and you could do unique stuff with different designs. But the reason I wanted to do this, I was going to do a silhouette on a wooden canvas, is just to show you how it kind of peels off a bit easier and works just as good as a regular canvas. And it's better if you want to resin it after. So I've actually created another silhouette. This one is up on the CraftyJenn art store website. So you could definitely, if you guys want to try out silhouettes and you don't want to invest in a big Cricut, or you just want to try it out, I do sell these pre-cut vinyls. And you can cut things out yourself. It just takes some time and patience, but this way is just a little easier, a little bit faster for you, and it's cut with some really nice durable vinyl. So I'm going to actually, so this one is a new silhouette I came up with, and it's quite large, so I'm going to actually peel it off because I want, did I cut? Yeah, and sometimes usually what I'll do with the pre-cut vinyl is I'll snip so that you don't have to wreck your silhouette. So the border, because there's a little bit of a border around, so that way when you go to peel off your vinyl, it's not going to peel off that little border, get stuck on itself and all that kind of stuff. So, alright, so this one is a new wolf one I did, and I'm going to use, so I'm going to have the wolf, I know you can't see it yet, I'm just trying to position where I'm going to put him. I think right about there, because I do want, I might bring him down a little bit, because I'm going to paint a nice nighttime scene in the top portion. So if I pull it down right about to there, I think that should be good. And if I just mark it with a pencil, just so I know where I'm going to place the negative space, makes it a bit easier for placing. Hardest part really is just trying to get the corner up. So here we go. Oh, almost. It helps if you have nails. Or I try and bend the corner over a little bit. Now this is a fairly large silhouette, so what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to peel it off like so, just by kind of walking it down like this. Make it a bit easier because it's a little bit more delicate. And this I might just peel off in place. Alright. Because it's a little bit more, there's a little bit more involved in this one. The one I have on the net doesn't have the other wolf silhouette. I just kind of made it a tree, because this is going to be a little bit more difficult. But I'll just show you. So this is what I will be pouring and swiping. So I got the nice, I want to do a gray wolf. I'm going to do the wolf swipe here and then a tree color here. And I think it's going to be really pretty. And then I'm going to paint up here in the negative space. Now it's just a matter of, so the nice part is this removable and replaceable. And I just need to place it a bit better. So you just got to be really careful. I'm going to pull it over a little. Like this. Okay, let's see if that positioning will work. Okay, now I've got it positioned in place, and I'm just going to grab my Liquid X Gloss varnish and a little paintbrush. I have a whole bunch of paintbrushes. I think I'll go with one that's a little bit larger so I can cover more space. And I'll grab one of my little silicone cups. So this is just Liquid X Gloss varnish. You just pour some out. It dries fairly quickly. Works great for keeping the vinyl down in place and sealing it. So with this one, just seeing how I would peel it back, I might actually do, and what I can do is I can actually just draw kind of a line so I know where to put the gloss. Just like so. So when I peel this back, I kind of have a guide of where to put my Liquid X Gloss. And I want to put it on both sides of that line. Very thin layer. And as I go, I can kind of bring him back. Just like so. So this also works on a wood canvas. And you don't want a thick layer, you just want a nice thin layer. And then I just push it down with the gloss. You can go back and forth if you want. Got a little bit of a paintbrush hair there. Just making sure that you get a nice seal on the gloss. Now don't worry about like drawing in a pencil mark because I'm going to be covering it over with acrylic paint anyways. This is just a guide so I know where to put my Liquid X Gloss onto, paint it on basically. So this one I might peel up like so. But you don't want to put any gloss right there, so just be a little bit careful there. This one should be a lot easier. I'm just going to peel this all the way back to where I had it. Now I'll just got to let that dry, and then I'll tape this off and be ready for the pour. Okay, so this is dry. It's fully dry, guys, on the wooden canvas. Another thing I forgot to mention is when you do wooden canvases, you can't pour on bare wood. So I had applied a layer of gesso to the wood. It has a little bit of a fine grit tooth. That's why we use gesso, so that the paint will adhere really good. And it's just best so you don't get any issues with the wood, with water seeping in and stuff like that. So just a note, if you're gonna do any kind of pouring on wood, put a layer of gesso first, help protect it, and yeah. So I added a piece of painter's tape just to extend it because the nose is very close here. for the vinyl. So any of the pre-cut vinyls, if it's close here, you can just add some painter's tape. You could painter's tape the whole thing off. I know I'm not going to go further than this little part. That's what I did there. And because I wanted this to be a gray wolf, I mixed up some gray. So this is just white with a couple drops of black and some silver that I mixed up. I love using gray in acrylic pours. It's super pretty. I've done it a few times now and it works out really good. So for my wolf, I'm gonna do like I did with my holiday inspired videos. You'll see I do some Northern Lights inspired colors. So I've got Brilliant Blue. I just need a paper towel. I have Artist Loft Brilliant Blue. This is the Color Flash that I absolutely love. There's links in the description for Amazon because you can buy the bigger bottles on Amazon, which is amazing. This is the Aqua Flash. Really pretty. It's from Folk Art, so I love using that one. And a little bit of black. And I'm going to do it a bit different. Normally I pour the colors all over and then swipe. I'm going to pour these 3 colors into a cup, like a dirty cup, and then pour them around. Because I want them to mix a little bit, because when they mix a little bit, it creates a really pretty effect. And then I'm going to swipe with the gray. But for the tree, obviously a tree is not gonna have the same color, so I have some sap green here and I have a little bit of bronze, and I might put a little bit of black with that just for this little tree here to swipe. So I don't know if you guys know this little wolf's there, he's running. So yeah, I'm gonna swipe with these colors and I think it's gonna work out really good. So with this tree one, it might be tricky, so now I'm swiping with 2 colors. So right here I might get some white. I don't know, it might be a bit tricky. I might have to put a little barrier, like use a popsicle stick to block it. But we'll see how it goes. Because I actually want the tree to have a little bit of green and I want the wolf to be white. So this is the only part where it's going to be very tricky. Right here, because it's so close. So I might have to use a popsicle stick, do that swipe first, and then come back and do the tree. So I'm going to put the tree colors aside, and that's my swiping one. And these guys, I'm going to put them into another cup. And that's what I'm going to pour all over. Okay, I got my spray bottle for my paper towel, and all you want to do really is just spray. It's just water in here, and I'm just going to spray it so it's damp but not wet. And so I'll just show you, it's just damp, it's not actually wet. This side is actually still dry. Because if it's soaking wet, it's gonna sink down into the paint too much and be too heavy. So you just want it to be damp. And I'll just have that ready to go for the swipe. Now for my 3 colors here, I'm gonna add my silicone, and you only need like 1 to 2 drops. This one's almost empty actually, which has lasted me quite a while. I'll have links to silicone in the description. It's just basically if you can get 100% silicone, then you're good to go. This one I actually got off Amazon and it works great. They both do. So there's a couple drops in there, and all I want to do is just push the silicone down to the bottom. I'm not going to mix it in. The more you mix it in, the smaller your cells will be. So I'm just pushing it down to the bottom, and I'm not putting any silicone in the swiping color. And I should make some room for me to swipe. Because this edge is kind of close here. So I might move it over just a little bit, so that, because it's going to definitely fall over the edge. So I'm just going to make sure you guys are still in there. Oh yeah, because we're not doing anything with that side yet. And my idea is I'm going to pour little bits of it into a cup and then pour that around this area. And I love this color combo. It turns out really beautiful every time. It's my little Northern Lights color combo. I don't want to put too much black because it ends, when it does mix together, black goes, could be overpowering. So you just want to put a little bit. I'm going to drop it from higher up so it goes down deeper. And that should be pretty good. Maybe a little bit more of this one. And anything else I can just pour the rest over. So I'm pretty excited. So what I'm gonna do is, with this all in here now, grab a new popsicle stick. I'm just gonna give it a little bit of a stir. You can see the cells are already starting to grow there. And I'm gonna have the white up here to flow down. So I want to put some color up here. I kind of want his edges to be white, except for maybe here. Let's put some way up here. Pretty. Alright, I'm gonna move these out of the way, because I'll probably turn that cup over after. And I'm going to pour my white, well, not white, gray, just right here for swiping. And I might pour a little bit down this side here so I can get some color there. Alright, now I have my damp cloth. I'm a little worried about this part. I might put a little popsicle stick here. We'll see what happens. So what I want to do, oh, and I should put some gray over this way. So I definitely get some that swipes over that part. And you just want to let it populate a little bit, so you'll see the gray starts to populate the paper towel. And you just lightly glide it over. I'm even pulling up a bit as it's gliding over. Boom, it's gonna go over the edge. I'm gonna pull it this way so that I can keep the paint to do a paint skin. And then I just grab my torch, pop some of the bubbles, and see how this is gonna work out. Now you've seen in some of my previous videos maybe that I'll do the swipe back and go back again, just because I want more of the blue to show up. So I might actually do that in this one. It is looking really cool though. I'm gonna peel this off so we get that color. And the cells will just keep growing and growing, but let's do half maybe. I kind of want more color this way. Now you could tilt it, but I think I'm gonna just swipe again to bring some of that color back. So don't be afraid to swipe twice. I never have been. I know it freaks people out, but it does work. So I'm gonna bring some of that color back up to the top. Just like so. I don't want to waste it, so I peel it off. And then I'm going to do it again because I want it to be more like this back over. And I mean, I could even add, I might add a bit of color flash back in before I swipe again. Just because not much of the color flash is showing up. So that's why it's good to kind of keep a bit of extra paint, or I could always mix up a bit more of the color flash if I needed to. And then I'll just let populate, and I'm just lightly pulling it back over. Get some of the paint off so we don't waste it. Ooh, that's looking pretty. Now the torch I use to pop the silicone bubbles. You'll see sometimes in the white, if I do this, it'll start to separate them. And it'll bring some of this coloring back out. Ooh, pretty. I like it. And you're probably wondering about his nose. And there's even like a little point right here. Just gonna pull some of the gray paint down. Just to make sure. I'm just gonna pull some of this gray coloring and just make sure that it covers the nose. Don't be afraid to spread the gray coloring around afterwards over the silhouette, the vinyl. And that's going to dry down nice and even. It'll look really good. And that's looking, these are going to continue to keep growing. I don't even mind this because the wolf is somewhere over here. And I kind of like that the cells are going to be right up to the silhouette there. But mostly his head is going to, and even this is kind of cute. If you didn't like it, you could just take some gray and you move it around and like tap on it to make it disappear. I think that looks good. Now is the tricky part. I'm going to try and do the tree alongside. This is a double swipe. So the tree, I was going to pull down with some green, some dark green. I haven't put any silicone in this yet. I might actually put a drop of black into this green, just to make it a little bit darker. It will dry fairly dark, but it's just a little bit too bright for, it's like a night scene I want. So I'm just going to put a couple, and a little bit of black goes a long way. I might have put too much, but we'll see. Now this already has my Floetrol and water mixture in here. Oh yeah, that's a little better. It's a deeper sap green. I like that. So don't be afraid to mix up different colors instead of the ones that come right out of the bottle. This is more of a calculated swipe. Okay, so I'm going to add some silicone to this one. And I still have some black, I think. Yeah. So I'm going to add a couple drops in. And because I still have a bit of black left, I'm going to add it just in here. And I do have silicone in this black. Not sure how I'm going to combine that little area, but I'll probably just use a popsicle stick. So I'm just pushing the silicone down for the bronze. Even if I pour over the edge a little bit, that's okay. And then this has no silicone in it for the green. Actually, I should put, I'm gonna put a, yeah, there we go. I'm just gonna pour up here. More of a calculated swipe this one. I might use the other edge of the paper towel. Because I want it to be, right there is where it's super close. So I want to just be careful right there. So I'm going to let it populate. Beauty. I like that. You can see how much these cells have grown, and I've done the spider web work with the lacing. Now that effect is just because I didn't put any silicone into the gray. It was only in all the other colors. But I think that's super pretty. I'm excited to see how this is gonna work out. And basically I'm gonna let all of this dry, and then I'm gonna do the reveal for the vinyl on wood, which should peel off a lot easier than it does on canvas. So I might play around a bit more with this transition area, but I'm kind of liking that. There is another wolf in here. This has some very fine details. So one thing is with the fine details, if the paint is really thick, it's hard to get the vinyl off. So I try and make the paint a little thinner up next to the vinyl, like right here and over here. This shouldn't be a problem. Right here it's really thick, but that's in the middle. There's no vinyl there, so we're good. Alright, so I'm going to let this dry, guys, and I'll bring you back for the reveal. Okay, so most of this is dry. This part right here is still wet, so I have to be very careful. It hasn't dried completely, but all along the edge of the vinyl has dried. So I'm going to peel this off, being very careful not to touch anything here or right here, because it's still a bit wet. So normally I wait until it's completely dry before removing the vinyl, but sometimes I get impatient and then I'll just peel. As long as it's dry along the edge of the vinyl, you can peel it off. So I'm just going to remove that. And this might take a little bit of time, but because it's on wood, I don't have to worry about canvas peeling off or anything like that. So this is a bit thicker here. I just gotta be careful I don't touch the wet part. And actually, a good thing to have is the positive side. Well, it's coming off, but you can use the other positive side of the vinyl as a reference. Yeah, you definitely don't want to just rip it right through. Now some areas, like over here where the paint is way thinner, a little bit easier to peel. But you're gonna see that by doing it on a wooden canvas, we don't have any repair work to do. So mostly I did those videos on the cheaper canvases just so you guys would have a sense of, you know, if you get one of those canvases, how to fix things and stuff. But here with the wooden canvas, I don't have to worry about canvas ripping or lifting up or anything. So I might actually rip some of this off. Just like that. It's looking pretty awesome. This is very thick right here, and this is quite thin. So I'm just going to take my time and keep peeling back and revealing the silhouette. Okay, so that worked out really good. We don't have any issues. Right here I had some blue that came over on the green, but all I'm going to do is I'm just going to paint the green back over. I kind of saw that happening, so I knew I was going to have to paint some green over some blue there. That's why I kept a bit of the green, but the nice part about acrylic paint is you can just paint over parts that, let's say, didn't work out. So I'm going to do it now so that it dries, and that way when I go to do the negative space I won't have to worry about it. Okay, I'm not going to worry because I'm going to paint over that other part, but I think that looks really awesome. I love how this came in right here. It's a little bit dry here, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to let it fully dry. I'm going to use the positive side of the vinyl to protect this and then paint my negative side, and I'm either going to do Galaxy or Northern Lights, I'm not sure yet, but I'll come back and I'll paint this side. Okay, so this is all dry now, which is awesome, and it's been cleaned. So now it's time to paint the negative side, or the sky in this case. And what you can do it a few ways. I usually just hand paint it and just go up against the edge with the brush. But you can also use the positive side of your vinyl to protect your painting and then quickly paint this side. The reason I'm going to use the vinyl is because I want to do a scene instead of just painting it one color. So I'm actually going to just apply the positive side of the vinyl onto the painting. Okay, so the nice part about this vinyl is that it's tacky, but it's not going to wreck your painting as long as you don't burr it down and stuff. So I just leave it in place just to help protect the painting underneath. And it should line up exactly because it's the exact opposite of the other one. So this is going to work so I can paint this scene and not have to worry about the acrylic pour painting we did. Okay, so I just drew kind of where I want my Northern Lights to be. Just sketched it in a little bit. And I've poured some paint. I'm going to use the Color Flash Aqua Flash by Color Shift for some of the Northern Lights, and just some deep brilliant blue with a little bit of black, because when the Northern Lights are out, the sky can be kind of light, like the not super black. So I'm going to start by mixing up a little bit of brilliant blue and black, and a little bit of black goes a long way, so you don't have to mix in quite so much. But basically I'm just going to go ahead and hand paint this negative side using acrylic paint and making the Northern Lights. Okay, so now that I've painted that up and I sprayed some stars on, I'm going to take the vinyl off and do touch-ups. Because I think right here I had some of the paint go underneath the vinyl, but that's okay. I'll just touch it up. Sweet. I think that looks pretty awesome. What I might do is I might fade some dark black right here because it's kind of light. So I'm going to do a dry brush. This is already pretty dry. So I'm just taking most of the paint off because I want it to be more like a black that just fades in. Yeah, I like that more. It's hard to see because the light is shining on it, but it'll actually kind of look like that. More of a silhouette of the tree, which will be really nice. And that is the Howling Wolf, the new pre-cut silhouette. I just love all the cells they got in the webbing. And when you're spritzing your stars on, if you get like a glob like that, just let it dry. And then you could just paint over it, or it's kind of like shooting stars almost. So I don't even mind it. And because this one is done on wooden canvas, I can resin it without any issues once this is all dry. But that's kind of how I use the silhouettes to protect the acrylic pour. And then usually I do a solid color here, but you can totally paint a scene. I mean, here we have the Northern Lights. I love it. You gotta do a little bit of touch-ups. But other than that, I'll take some pictures, and that is pretty cool. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Thank you so much for subscribing, watching, liking, commenting. I greatly appreciate it. And check out the links below in the description. I greatly appreciate when you use my Amazon links. I get a small commission and there's no extra charge to you, and it helps me out greatly. So thank you so much, guys, and I hope you have lots of fun creating.